Gucci Mane, Roddy Ricch, Pissy. I don't know if I like the title of the song. But, you know, it really reminds me, because I love Gucci Mane's verse. I like what Roddy Ricch does on this. But it reminds me of how much I used to not like Gucci Mane and his style of rapping that, you know, 5 years ago. Let's just say that. Right now, I love the way he raps, and I think he's doing a great job on this track.
I think this is a superior version of Lemonade, a song he made back in the early aughts. And he just raps so much better. This new Gucci Mane is the preferred version of Gucci Mane.
Well, it's no wonder he's trending as fuck. Everything is yellow in this video, from caution tapes to sports cars to the bikinis of the models that are dancing next to Roddy Ricch and Gucci Mane.
Yeah, everything is definitely banana colored in this video. It's I feel like Gucci Mane somehow gets away with remaking the same song several times.
Yeah, but it still sounds good.
Yeah.
So Lil TJ featuring Youngboy NBA called Project Walls. Like, personally, this is not a track I would want to listen to. For me, it sounds too sing-songy. It sounds more like an R&B track. I like the rapping Lil TJ does in the beginning. I like the fact that he talks about, you know, the roaches and, you know, the Project Walls and trying to overcome it all and trying to do what he can to get out of it because he didn't want to be locked up. I like the message of betterment, but the delivery, I need more rapping.
I would agree, and I feel like there just isn't enough contrast. Like you say, it's too much singing on there. I also kind of like TJ, but I think Youngboy sounded better on the track. I feel like they were in the same vibe, but Youngboy was talking some gangster stuff, and TJ seemed like it was being introspective. I just think the track was mid.
Yeah. It was. I think Lil TJ has done some better tracks. So
also, I don't agree that New York is a town. I'm pretty sure New York is a city.
Yes, it is. It is graduated from being a town a long time ago when they paved the roads from the dirt wagon horse-driven paths. So the track "Nobody" with Finesse 2 times on Gucci Mane, that's hard as fuck. I was very surprised at how hard Finesse 2 times went. I do feel this verse sounded like it was another 32-bar verse. I would have preferred probably a shorter 16 and then get to Gucci Mane, but man, he has some bars in that shit.
Absolutely. I think Finesse 2 times has been burning up the circuit from the Moneybagg Yo camp. He definitely has very hard biographical rhymes. But Gucci Mane felt like he was kind of tacked on that track. I don't feel, you know, it's like, not saying that obviously he didn't put some bars on there, but I don't feel like he was in the pocket on that song. That's just my opinion.
Yeah, I mean, you know, rolling with Black Youngsta and Moneybagg Yo out of the Memphis crew, I would say Finesse has been making some moves. As far as Gucci Mane's verse, I would say he did a lot better job on Bluffin. Recently that came out as well.
Yeah, and I think Finesse 2 times is making it apparent why he's a XXL freshman this year. And I'm excited to see what he keeps continuing to do with his new work.
Definitely. And now continuing on this trend, Gucci Mane and Kodak Black on King Snipe. I know this is one of your favorite tracks of the year. Listen, I'm not Kodak Black's #1 fan. In fact, at one point I wouldn't even listen to him. But I would say, especially after he stood up for Nas, when the 21 Savage Irrelevant happened with 21 Savage and Nas and how he stuck up for Nas, I was like, okay, he's got a good sense of culture on some level. And so I wanted to give him a chance with this track. And I thought he did a good job on the melody. Yes, it's very misogynistic. Yes, 3 out of 4 lines talk about killing women. At the same time, I liked his melody.
Yeah, I'm in and out on Kodak Black. You know, I started off listening to him. He has a couple songs that I vibe with. But Gucci definitely set the tone for the track. It's just the better performer on it.
Well, yeah, no argument there.
So, I mean, I like some elements of the song, but this ain't for me. It's not going to be in my playlist.
No. I like his use of auto-tune in the second verse when it comes to this track. We got Ray Sherman with Not So Bad. Now, for those...
so bad?
Does it say? No, it's not so bad.
No, I know. I'm just saying it was so bad to listen to.
The way you said that made it sound like you were correcting me. No. God damn it. No. We might even leave this in. But, no, Ray Sherman, Not So Bad, with the famous Dido sample, right? You can't outdo Stan. And if you're gonna redo Eminem's Stan song, which is incredible, it literally created an idiom in common language. When you're someone's diehard fan, you're standing them. You know, there's so many references to this. I don't know how long. This was 15 years ago. Some shit. It's been a while. I'm sorry, Ray Sherman could not improve upon what Eminem has already done with Stan.
It just doesn't seem like their bag, especially knowing how iconic that song is. Why would you remake it unless you were going to remake it in a similar fashion where you kind of tell the story of a fan that's over the top? I think if he wanted to do like a more modern take on that, that would have been a great song. But the song really has nothing to do with the original, and therefore it really sounded it was a good sounding song.
Yeah, it didn't
but it
sound
came
bad.
off kind of bland.
Yeah, it didn't sound bad. But like, what if they took it from another perspective, from what we were talking about earlier? You mentioned, what if they did this song Not So Bad from a black perspective?
I would like that.
Right? Twist it up.
I don't like this.
No, this is not. I would look. It's not as bad as Pushin P when it comes to nonsensical verses that literally have no words in them.
Not much is as bad as Pusha P. Let's be clear.
No, it's a standout track for how little it stands out. But at the same time, I do like Pusha P. I do like the track. I don't dislike it. I just recognize it's not a quality track. And you can like trash tracks, but there's a point where it gets to Honestly Nevermind level where it's like Drake's album was so bad. It doesn't have any, there's no redeeming qualities to it. There's no track on there that I would want to listen to again. And so it's just kind of like, when that is the lowest bar you can go as far as recent music goes, this is not that bad. This is not Honestly Nevermind bad.
No, but it still doesn't do anything for me. I don't think it moves the bar. I don't think it's nearly even in the top 5 of their songs. No. So it's like whatever.
Well, when you hear about No Flex Zone and the stuff they're
Black
capable
Beatles
of,
with Gucci Man. Come on,
yeah.
That song should have never made it to the album. That's all.
No. Well, so like if they would have actually rapped on that, because they mainly sang. The whole thing was mainly them singing, and even their rapping was more sing-songy than I know they can rap. Like they've got some staccato verses on other tracks and features, but there was very little rapping in this. It was mainly singing, and I'm just like,
even if they would have took Dido's original concept of the song being not so bad, because Eminem technically flipped it and made it into something bad.
Yeah.
If they would have went back to the original concept of basically it being like a love song, I would have took that too, but it wasn't either.
No. It was very unoriginal.
I don't know what the concept really was.
No, I think they half-assed it. I think it was an idea they're smoking.
It was a cool sample. It's like, hey, we should remake that Stan song, right?
Yeah.
Like, yeah, bro, come on, let's remake Stan. But
they're smoking up in the trailer before they go on stage for some other show, and they're like, hey, let's remake Stan. So they got the licensing rights for that. But I mean, it's one of those things where how long can major artists simply ride on the coattails of their own fame and their fan group, where it's like, oh, just because you're famous now, anything you do is good? It's like, nah. And then you got these people that, just like when we were talking about any kind of critique of Mr. Morale, it's like you got the stands of Kendrick Lamar
Lamar definitely has stands at this point.
Right, trying to put us on blast because we have any critique of his music at all. It's like, oh, so we're not allowed to critique an artist that we love?
Let's be clear, double albums aren't a good idea.
No,
I don't care who it is. Even Michael Jackson could not make a good double album. And he's one of the best artists of all time.
Because you have a higher chance of something being mid or mediocre when you release that much material. But moving on, Lil Durk and Lil Baby's track featuring Rod Wave, Rich Off Pain. I'm very impressed with this track. I love the song. I think it's great. And I think one of the really cool points this really shows hip-hop fans is the evolution of Lil Durk over time, from going from a strictly violent drill rapper to more of an introspective melodic rapper. And in this, we kind of see almost a mentor relationship that we have with Lil Baby, who is newer to the game, Lil Durk, and yet he's kind of evoking this introspective verse on that, with Rod Wave, of course, sounding great on the hook.
Yeah, I would agree. Rod Wave has such a powerful and potent voice. It's very shocking that he's not in the news as much, but he has such a loyal following. And although they're 3 melodic artists, they seem to make it work on the track very well, and mixing their styles together.
I would agree. I want to see more work with Lil Durk, Lil Baby, and Rod Wave together. Maybe throw in some more Lil Baby's Nipsey Hussle style verses, where he's got these declarative statements every couplet or two. But I really enjoyed that, and think about just the title of it, Rich Off Pain, and how so many times artists turn adversity into a paycheck, and it's good in a way, as long as it's not perpetuating and glorifying the very behavior that put their livelihoods at risk. But when they can transform that and take ownership of that pain and then transform it into a better life for their friends and family, I love that shit.
And I like that they understand that that's what the money is for. It's not to floss. It's not to be cool and buy all the jewels. It's to provide for their family. It's to take care of things that they weren't able to take care of before. Although it was tough to go through what they had to go through and then have to retell the story in a music form, they understand now with the resources they're having, they're going to give back. And they're doing it in the music, which is good, and also in real life. I respect that.
Yeah, I respect that as well. Again, I like to see how artists can evolve beyond just promoting stereotypical behavior that rappers are supposed to exhibit according to white label owner perspectives.
Yeah.
And to get beyond that and say, no, actually rap is deeper than that. Rap is part of hip hop as a culture, and that we can look into that and actually take a stand for something, because if you don't stand for something, you fall for anything.
Absolutely.